Good afternoon. Don Briggs, your mayor. Today is Wednesday, May 27th, 2020. I am joined by Roger Wilson, Frederick City Alderman, who also served prior to that 5 years as Frederick County Director of Governmental Affairs. Mr. Wilson, Roger, holds a bachelor's degree from Virginia Commonwealth University and a master's degree in business administration from the University of Maryland. He also had a 20-year career with IBM before coming and settling down here in Frederick or somewhere in between that, moving here. But it's a pleasure to have you, Roger.
Yeah,
I'm going to read a couple of things and then I'll come right back to you. Looking forward to this. We're still under the Maryland Strong Roadmap to Recovery, under which many of the responsibilities have been passed on to the county executive's discretion for plans to reopen. For the most part, she absolutely wants to follow what the governor has put out, but also keeping an eye on what our statistics here are in the county. We're waiting for a press conference from the governor today at 5 p.m. This morning we had a county executive meeting with all the mayors and burgesses, which our town manager also listened in on. Where we are now, we're operating under a safer at home advisory that will not be enforced by rule of law. The county executive plan is to open just about everything at 5 p.m. this Friday, May 29th, with the exception of restaurants and bars. Outdoor seating is still a question with restaurants. There's so many things that have to go on with health, department approvals, and distancing. Churches can reopen up to 50% of their occupancy with mask and proper social distancing. That's a wonderful news. And we'll go on from there. Our parks are open. Just equipment, if you feel more comfortable using your own sanitizers and wearing a mask, we suggest the mask and work at the social distancing. This morning, the confirmed COVID-19 information is state 48,423 cases, 2,270 deaths. That's up 53 deaths in 24 hours. Frederick County has 1,786 cases and 96 deaths, and 7 probable related deaths. Our zip code, 21727, is at 17 confirmed cases, which is up slightly from the prior week by 1. Again, the Frederick County Health Department will not release any statistics about anything else of cases, anything would violate the privacy of the patient. Frederick City Alderman Wilson. Well, we all listened to the county executive this morning, and your take on where we are and where we go, and then I'll have some follow-up questions with you.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Briggs, and to the town. It's so good to be here in Emmitsburg. It's been a while, and we're going through this pandemic crisis that we're under. It's just very good to be out of the house. I've been in, just like everybody else, quarantined for 2 to 3 months, and getting out of the house, getting some fresh air is always good. So it's good to be up here with you today.
Well, thank you very much. Did you pick up anything? Were you listening in on the county executives?
I listened briefly to her press briefing today.
We're all sort of still seeing what will the governor say at 5. I know she has another press conference tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning, or weekly, so we'll find out more about where we are.
I must say that the county executive has been very open and transparent and informative in letting the community know what's happening and how we're responding to this crisis. So I just want to thank her for that, going forward. And you also keeping your town apprised of what's going on, that's a good thing. And I'm sure many residents have that uncertainty, but the more you communicate and get the word out on what's going on, it's a good thing. It keeps everybody, with that warm and fuzzy feeling that, that local government is in charge and they're responding appropriately.
Thank you. You were recently elected president of the Maryland Municipal League, and congratulations.
Thank you.
And I look forward to working with you over the next year. We have a big POS meeting coming up, I think, in 2 days.
Right.
In the evening, and we'll see how that goes. Hope everybody gets what they want. If I could, a couple of questions. What has been the hardest thing for you during this last several months with the COVID-19 crisis? I mean, other than staying home. I mean, that might be.
Well, that actually is the hardest thing, and being still at home. For the last decade, last 20 years, I've been a lot, going out and, being in my community, travel. So for the last 2 months, being home has really been a challenge for me. I often go out walking, riding my bike, just to get out and get fresh air. That's been good. But also it's given me an opportunity to work on the things that around the house that I have neglected or, kind of delayed or put off. But that's been good. But the real challenge is just being still, being at home, and, not going out, for safety purposes, not harming anyone, or also protecting myself. We have 3 daughters at home, and they're going to school online. So that's been a bit of a change. They're teenagers, so they have their own space, but it's been a real joy of being connected with my family, and also having the opportunity to talk to others that I haven't talked to in a long time. So, but I would imagine others are experiencing the same thing, and we're looking at some light at the end of the tunnel, and we'll be able to go out and experience, what we were doing last, before this crisis hit. Life will be different, I must say. Life will be different, but it will give us an opportunity to kind of get out and maybe go to the beach or to the parks and kind of get back to some normalcy.
Well, that's a good answer. Another question: what should local jurisdictions, municipalities, be doing right now to begin the recovery process?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that every local jurisdiction in the state of Maryland, just as an example, needs to recover, from the impact on the economy, the local economy. And in my mind, in my opinion, that everybody's going to be competing to get people back into their local jurisdiction, spending, those dollars that we have come accustomed to, receiving that tax revenue to the local economy. And so what I feel local jurisdictions should be doing is coming up with a plan on a fast recovery. What are the things or the components that will stimulate your local economy? And some of the things that we're looking at in the city of Frederick is possibly providing a tax break to local retail, maybe some tax incentives for hiring new employees or bringing previous employees back is good. But another thing is just offering free parking for the months of July and August. I think that's a good thing, to have customers coming in and not having to worry about parking. Now, some people may ask, well, how are you going to pay for that, with the loss of that revenue? And we do have, we're anticipating, some dollars as a result of the CARES Act that was passed a month ago by the federal government, Congress. And there should be some stimulus money in there that we can benefit from. Mm-hmm. But as far as, the locality is making sure that they're giving guidelines to local retail in order to ensure that customers feel safe, while they're in that establishment, whether they're at a restaurant or a bar or, a grocery store or whatever they're doing their shopping, and going, that they should feel safe, and making sure that we're getting to the guidelines of what the federal government has outlined. We're going to be in this for a while. The vaccine has not been developed, right? And still, it takes more time, maybe 6 more months to get it disseminated to the public. So we're looking probably like a year out before we get back to, some normalcy.
Wow, that's really something. I know one thing we're doing up here, we have mini grants for businesses.
Micro grants.
And we've offered that, and and we may open it up a little further to self-proprietors working out of their homes. We're looking through that now, and see if we can help some more people out. We have a lot of cottage industries up here, IT people, and
Right.
work out of their homes.
It's interesting that you talk about IT. I mean, the way we're working now and the meetings that we're having now on using platforms like Zoom, I mean, that's become the norm. And so technology and the internet has become essential like drinking water. And so what is local government doing to kind of help provide that capability to all of our residents? Our students are having a different educational experience right now. They're going online. You may be interacting with your physician, online, through telehealth. Those 2 items require good technology, good broadband, to be in place in, folks' homes. So we're learning this is different. It's changing the world. It's changing our community and how we interact. And so what is local government doing to kind of put us on a path that, takes those concerns and those challenges into consideration? Yeah.
I just feel like all levels of government are really communicating well right now. They're really trying. You can feel it in the teleconferences with the county executive that every week it gets stronger and more comfortable. I think the first month, March, we were recovering reaction, and now we seem to be more into action, how to do this, come up with some solutions, I think, like that.
Good.
Any advice for your young people and students for the summer?
Here in Emmitsburg, I believe you started a Boys and Girls Club
That's correct.
program here, and I think that was a good move, a strategic move to fulfill the needs for young people up here in Emmitsburg. As the weather gets warmer, we're used to going to the swimming pool and, going to the beach. I would ask that the students and young people make sure they're paying attention to their parents. Make sure that they are, being in the framework and the guidelines of what the institution or the facility is asking for. Making sure that they're adhering to those principles, because we want to protect you. And when you're going out and you're not adhering to those principles and guidelines that are there to protect you, you're putting everybody at risk. And so I would encourage you, one, to make sure that as you venture out, the weather starts to get better for you, that you're making sure that you adhere to those guidelines. Second is, take up a hobby or something that requires you to, get outside. Playing videos all day is not the most useful thing for you right now. A lot of things that have popped up because of this COVID-19 crisis, and one of those things is mental health. A lot of people are feeling that challenge, and especially our young people, because one, they're having a different education experience right now, going online, so they may have those issues. But not being able to go outside and exercise and socialize, that may be a challenge too. So I would say as you're going out, venturing out this summer, try to find ways to, make sure that you're going out, having activities outside, walking, playing, riding your bike, enjoying the time, and get out. Get away from the video games and the TV and the technology. I think it would be good for you.
Okay, thank you. I'll be right back with you. Just a couple of, if I may, a couple updates for the community, and
Okay.
then go from there. I didn't hear back from Phil Skelly, manager of the Emmitsburg Food Bank, so I'm assuming the supply remains stable and demand is at normal pre-COVID-19 levels. Jubilee's fine. Country Kitchen is still providing meals for kids down at Vigilant Hose. The pool, we're waiting for official notifications. We're trying to sort of a moving plan is to open in the middle of June, but we'll see if that happens, and we'll respond and have the pool open. It's being set up now. They're doing all the preliminary work to have it opened. If you drive by there, you can see that. Census, we're up to 64.8% compared to 51% at 2010, but we have a way to go. County is above 70%, which is about the fourth largest rate of all counties. Remember, it's $18,000 per person over 10 years, and if you do the math times 3,000, I think it comes out to $5.4 million that we have a responsibility we can bring back to our community and lower taxes. Just a couple things on what's coming up. Monday night we have our regularly scheduled meeting here. It'll be a virtual meeting, no public. We'll be finishing up the budget. Still working on the farmers market. We have about two people who are committed to it. We would like to see if we have a little more. Yard waste is, I believe it's this week, or the third weekend, and bulk trash, June 20th, check town postings for what qualifies. We still have grant money available for our businesses. And Alderman Wilson, any final thoughts?
Well, I must say that I used to have a show called All Around Town, and I used to have you on regularly to interview you. So it feels different with switching chairs here. So, but I appreciate the time up in Emmitsburg. Frederick County is such a special place. We're special because of our commerce, our history, but we're also special because of our people. And the town of Emmitsburg is a wonderful place to live, and I appreciate all the leadership that you provided to this community, Mayor Briggs, over the years. And we look forward to coming back up and spending more time with you.
Well, we appreciate it. You're definitely a rising star in the state, and we're eagerly awaiting where your career will go next.
All right.
But for right now, for myself, the commissioners, the town staff, and all our residents, we want to thank you for coming up here today. It's so kind of you, and I know you've got a terrific schedule burden, and all the best to Frederick City and to you and your career. Thank you for joining us.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.